Today is a busy day for earnings as investors weigh results from Apple, Caterpillar, and Ford. But how exactly is China affecting these companies? Joining me today is Doreen Mogavero. So Doreen, I'll first start off with Apple. It reported earnings after the bell yesterday and its stock rallied this morning. But when you look at their sales growth in China, it's starting to fall, especially when you have companies like Samsung in the marketplace now. So do you think investors are worried that this rally is short-lived?
No, I really don't think so. I mean, I think Apple is really best in breed. It's a leader. I mean, and just recently, personal experience. I was in the AT&T store getting my new phone, and I think that they're being told that there are all sorts of innovations in the pipeline and all different kinds of phones, including simple things like just upping the gigabytes of the telephones. People are apparently blowing right through the 64 gig models. They need more capacity in their phones, so those may be coming out fairly soon. Things like that I think people will continue to keep buying Apple products, and I think all in all, as good as the other phones may be, and the other products, I think people want to have an Apple. They want to have an iPhone or an iPad or something like that. So.
Now moving over to Caterpillar, their CEO attributed a slowdown in sales to China as well, and this comes on the heels as China's PMI was released showing that manufacturing is even slower than expected. Do you think investors are concerned that we'll continue to see companies changing their growth outlook because of data showing that there's a slowdown in economic growth globally?
Well, I think there's no question that's going to be a factor in all companies going forward, but the companies that we're talking about here today are really the best in breed. And I think you might see peaks and valleys in the way they trade, but if you're an investor in any of those companies, I think global growth, although slow now, maybe slower than we would like to see it, I think it's eventually going to come back. So if you're really an investor in the stock and not just a trader, I think you look at it 5 years from now and you're going to see great growth.
And finally, we are seeing results from Ford and GM. Ford reported better than expected results, and GM is tomorrow. Now, do you think investors will be watching how Europe is going to affect these two companies? Because both of them have seen sales growth in China, but Europe still seems to be an issue.
Well, 600 million people in Europe, so it's a huge factor, right? I think that, traditionally Europeans have always loved American cars. So I think with the improvements that both Ford and General Motors have made in the cars, again, I think that's more a function of the economic situation than it is actually a function of the product that the companies are making. So from that point of view, I think that, again, as the economy improves, I think so will the sales. So I think that it will depend on growth to see how they are. But basically, these are very solid companies.